I finally finished the art file for my VTuber, and let me tell you, regrets have been made. I could have done things much faster, and I want you to not make the same mistakes. First mistake, not having a complete character design before I started drawing my VTuber. I only had this sketch. I thought I was just going to wing it, just go with the feels. No. Big mistake. Don't ever do this. This is basically like starting a detailed rendering without having a design figured out. You want to adjust the design? But then that would destroy something you just spent 1 hour rendering. Just one example, I had to redraw the hair buns 3 times because I wasn't happy with how it looks. Second mistake, I should have drawn most things in 2 to 3 layers and cut it later instead of drawing everything in separate layers from the get-go. Sure, semi-transparent or multiplied layers like blush or neck shadow should be separated from the start because they are hard to cut, but everything else is easily cuttable. I'm saying this because I did not enjoy drawing on 126 layers. I know some of you probably enjoy that. What is wrong with you? But I keep drawing on the wrong layers. My flow gets interrupted when I had to switch layers constantly and try to find the right one. And the potato I draw on gets really laggy from all the layers when I try to record my drawing process. That's why I don't have a full process video for drawing this. I thought I screwed up and had to rename all my 100 layers. Why? Because in the beginning I flipped horizontal when drawing and just forgot about it. I labeled my layers L and R to represent the model's left side and the model's right side. When I found out it's flipped, I thought I had to rename everything until I realized that I can just make a mental note that right side now means my right side instead of the model's right side. Problem solved. Everything is good. One last thing, use lasso and the paint bucket tool to start each part. Otherwise, you might get a lot of semi-transparent spots like me. I keep finding them during the making of this video. It's like a whack-a-mole game. Would not recommend. Now let me show you the final result and walk you through the layer structure. The face layers are sandwiched between the bangs and all other hair, so let's just look at hair first and then face. The plans I have for these bangs are just Lisa's bangs, which is basically super glued to her forehead, so it's only 3 layers. The hair is separated based on the hairstyle. I want my hair to look 3D when turning, like Himono sensei have here. So I proceed to watch the clip 1,000 times, and here's what I came up with. 4 hair strands that will be clipped to this black 0 opacity layer, so when my head turns, they can show up one by one. One outline to be glued to the black layer, so the hair always has an outline. Plus 2 loose strands to make the hair look more real, and have an extra under the hair layer for when I look up and the underside of the hair shows. For the buns, I drew a bunch of extra braids per head turns. I could just take the easy way out and keep the buns in place like Xiao Dubao model here, which looks amazing by the way, but I just like pain. Moving on to the face folder. The jawline is separated from the face because in certain angles the jawlines disappear. And I'll use some inverse clipping masks to remove part of the jawline in those angles. I didn't separate blush from face because there wasn't that much blush. For facial features, here I have some fun alternate eyes. I can always add more later because Live 2D allows you to import more layers to your current VTuber model. Here's the actual eye folder. It's just standard eye stuff. I wanted to have clock hands rotating in the black eye because my theme is kind of time and space, so I have a folder for that. And I have another 2 layers for expression. I can duplicate layers in Live 2D, so I only drew 1 of each. For the earrings, I want fancy stuff, okay? On my PixelTuber, you can see some of the fanciness I want to do. The right earring would be moon face, and the other one should be the 3 rings spinning around the core. I made the core and the rings the same color so it's easier to animate. Otherwise, I would have to have the front and back of the ring as 2 separate layers, yada yada yada, too much work for too little reward. For the nose, aside from the normal stuff, I also have these lines for nose bridge. You know when the character is looking to the side so you draw a line to represent the nose bridge? Yeah, this is that line. The nose rigging will be tricky because most of the models I see just have animated dot nose, so there's not a lot of reference on how to rig a more realistic style nose. but we'll figure it out. The mouth is also pretty standard. I also have a rectangle skin block just in case I needed to hide things during rigging. The ears are actually drawn in a side view because side view has more detail. I can easily rig it back to the front view with the right R mesh in Live 2D. I'm not sure if I'll keep these hair before ears. Right now they can block the huge ears a little bit, but once I have the ears rigged, they might not be necessary. I'll keep them just in case. That's all for the head. The body is simple. It's just body and clothes. And the body is cut up at the joints. I didn't properly draw the arms and legs because no one will ever see them except you guys. They're just placeholders right now. The only special thing I'm doing is her shirt. I traced an ancient Chinese star map from the Ming Dynasty because I want unique looking constellations that will be spinning around her neck clip. I also prepared some hand poses. I don't have any hand tracker, but VTube Studio support hotkeys, so I can set these as toggles, so I will have a few hand shapes to switch from. If you want to see me rig this model, subscribe! I'll post that video in a few weeks, hopefully.